Welcome to this video about 8 physical symptoms of trauma. If you're new to my channel and new to what trauma is all about, you might like to go back to my What is Trauma video and the previous one, which was the emotional one. Because these videos are about just educating you and supporting you. They're not about self-diagnosis, to understand some symptoms that you might be living with that you haven't actually connected back with a traumatic event or a series of traumas. Because I've already mentioned in my other videos, it's something we don't talk about, we don't know how to put words to it, and sometimes we just think that's normal. It becomes so familiar that we actually don't realize that, no, we don't need to feel that way anymore. I'm Chantal, psychotherapist and Reiki master. Now, I'm talking here from my own lived experience, because I think it's also important to hear it from a peer, not just from the professionals and the clinicals, because even though it's absolutely invaluable, do seek help. I've had a lot of help to get me to this place. And sometimes it's also important to hear someone that you know who's also been through experience, because that is how you become in the world. You don't know how to be there. You don't know how to care for yourself and protect yourself. Now, the first one I want to talk to you about is always feeling in danger. Now, when I talked about this with the emotional ones, I did it with the first one there too, and I've put the link here. You might like to go back and see it, and I combined the two, because when you're feeling fearful, when you're feeling unsafe, it's also because your body is on this hyper arousal. You've got this constant flood of adrenaline and cortisone going through you. So it keeps you restless, it keeps you on edge. You know, your body constantly feels like this. You feel like you need to move at the same time, even though you might be feeling frozen. You feel like you need to be constantly on flight or in fright. You just don't know how to regulate yourself again. So that's one symptom. The second symptom that can come, particularly if it's unresolved, and depending how your trauma happened, you might have these constant little aches and pains, headaches. You feel rigid in your body, you feel tight. So you like this. I know I walked around like this for so long, not realizing it, because I didn't realize I was actually protecting myself. And I'd actually curled my body in because I needed to protect my heart and my vulnerability. So it's also learning to feel safe again is about being able to be flow in your body, to have movement again, to know that you can look around, that you're not going to be forever in danger, that the world is not a dangerous place to be in. The world is actually safe and you are able to protect yourself again. The third one is you might find you develop gut issues, digestive problems. Because when you're stressed, you might not eat well, you might overeat, you become constipated, you get diarrhea. These are all part of the physical symptoms. Your body is completely out of order. It's no longer processing things in a normal and natural way. So it's really important to check that out, to check what are you eating, how much you're eating, has it become a habit? In fact, has it even become an addiction? Check out those headaches and migraines, and just check out, are you using more prescriptions? Are you needing more medications? That's all signs of perhaps that you're not coping. And it's also sometimes you do need them. So please don't misunderstand me, and do go and seek help. But sometimes you might be using them as a crutch. It's the easy way out. Because when you're in pain, it is painful. It holds you back. So do go and check out those little headaches, aches and pains. The fourth one is finding you are no longer able to sleep well. You've got disrupted sleep, you've got insomnia, you have nightmares, you're having your panic attacks at night. So again, that's another sign that you are feeling traumatized. Because again, you don't feel safe being there. Your aches and pains are keeping you awake. You're constantly on alert. You're not sure what's happening. So it keeps you hyper aroused all the time. So it's about finding things to do to support yourself, to self-soothe, to bring you back here so you can get a really good night's sleep. Because a good night's sleep is so healing and it's so restorative and so supportive in your life and what you're going through. Number 5, you'll find that you're easily startled. That, you know, you're like this all the time. You're like, and for no apparent reason. And that can create more stress, and people don't understand because there's no reason. You're actually in an environment where you are safe, but your body doesn't feel safe. So you're easily frightened, which again comes back to number 1, you're on edge. You keep watching out. You never feel comfortable in your body and in the world. The 6th one is you have difficulty concentrating. Because there's so much happening in you and you're so aroused and you're so hypervigilant. Something happens in your brain. I found that. I couldn't concentrate. My memory wasn't good. And I did talk about this in the emotional one as well in a little bit more depth. And that was really disconcerting because I could never stick to one thing at a time. My body just didn't know how it constantly needed to be moving, and I couldn't piece things together, and I couldn't remain focused. So just check in with yourself. Are you able to concentrate? That could be a sign. Number 7, you develop or have panic attacks and nightmares. You find your body is sweating profusely. You get this heat rising. Your heart's pounding, your heart rate is up. You find you're trembling. You find you're constantly on edge. It could be just underneath the surface. I know that was my experience. And when you have those panic attacks, it can feel like you're dying. I know it has for me, and I have a beautiful partner. He soothes me, he puts me there, he just stays with me until I come back to know that I'm safe again. Because a lot of these symptoms feel like that. So it's really important you get to understand. Go and see your GP to understand what's happening for you. Because I found once I got understanding, I was actually supporting myself. And I knew I could work through it and that it would pass, as uncomfortable as it was and as fearful as it was. The 8th one is that sexual dysfunction can happen. You get low libido, you have no desire for sex, you feel too fatigued, it all feels too much. It might also have to do with your sense of self, which is again in the emotional one, because you lose your self-esteem, you no longer feel attractive, something might have happened to your body inwardly and outwardly, that you no longer feel desirable, you no longer feel sensual. So that's another thing to look at, is how you're feeling sexually. Because when you no longer feel sexually desirable due to your experience, it really affects your sense of self, your world, your relationship, how you are with other people, how you attract people into your life. So as I mentioned already a few times in this video, this is just to support you, to give you some understanding. If anything resonates, reach out for help. Leave any comments, share this with anyone you feel might be interested or might benefit from this. Subscribe to my channel, put on the notifications, because I'll be also giving you all sorts of things to support you in your healing. It's not just about talk therapy, it's also looking at you holistically. Namaste, and thank you for watching.